So yeah, that's pretty bad. Let me go ahead and change this, guys. Okay, but we still have quite a bit of stuff.
Yeah.
One thing that we do have that we need to talk about is Eric Adams.
Mm.
Eric friggin' Adams, guys. Um,
Mm.
New York mayor, and I don't know what it is about the carousel of conspiratorial idiots, the carousel of corruption that New York mayors have. I mean, wasn't Giuliani the mayor? And then after that was Cuomo, who who
Cuomo. Yeah.
who who was inappropriately touching people. And now this guy. And if I can for a real quick second, I don't like this guy. Never did like this guy. And he's a Democrat. So Darla
Well,
Mar, one of our favorite Republicans who watch this show and make sure that we're on our toes, um, was wondering, why are we always talking about the MAGA and never the other side? And I say, well, because the other side just doesn't do as much crazy stuff. But when they do, when you're corrupt, when you're ridiculous, when you're accepting foreign money from before you become mayor, like this bum, Eric Adams, we're going to flame you. Get out of here. You don't deserve to be in the office. You deserve to be in jail, in prison. And people might say, well, that's strong. Wasn't it just some plane flights? It's not that big a deal. Yes, it is. It's corruption. And we don't accept it on any side. Here's the story, guys. And this guy is a straight up super fanatic religious right, although he calls himself a Democrat. I never liked him because he's always about ruling. And it's always those moral people who are ready to condemn morality are always the ones caught in corruption. Listen to this, guys.
How was
We'll
everyone's
get past
day?
these commercials here.
It was great. We made this taco crescent ring. I saw a weird bird. You came home. You came home. I rode the vacuum, and now we're eating dinner.
All right.
Let's get straight to the presser.
Conspiracy in which he solicited and knowingly accepted illegal campaign contributions from foreign donors and corporations. As we allege, Mayor Adams took these contributions even though he knew they were illegal. And even though he knew these contributions were attempts by a Turkish government official and Turkish businessmen to buy influence with him. We also allege that the mayor sought and accepted well over $100,000 in luxury travel benefits from some of the same foreign actors who arranged many of the illegal campaign contributions. These benefits included free international business class flights and opulent hotel rooms in foreign cities. The mayor had a duty to disclose these gifts on his annual public disclosure forms so that the public could see who was giving him what. But as we allege, year after year after year, he kept the public in the dark. He told the public he received no gifts, even though he was secretly being showered with them. We allege that Adams accepted these benefits knowing that they were given to him because of his position. And in exchange for some of those improper benefits, he intervened in the New York City Fire Department's inspection process for a building owned and operated by the Turkish government, allowing it to open even though it had not passed the fire inspection. The corruption alleged in the indictment is, as I said, long-running. As we allege in the...
Here you go. When somebody says to you, oh, man, and I'm going to bring up Trump, but only for the reason that I want you to understand why I'm flaming this guy. Many times I've heard them say, man, they would never have brought this to court if it wasn't Trump, if it wasn't so-and-so. Yeah, yeah, that might be true. But the reason why is because when you're given the public trust, if it's an extra $5 or if it's an upgrade on your airplane, the results are you too may approve somebody's building when it's not up to code, when it's not up to the fire code. You too can endanger the lives of the people who depend on you and who voted for you for $5. That's why. You see, people like Eric Adams like to look at the transaction. They're transactional players. You know, well, it wasn't that big a deal because it wasn't that big of a transaction.
There was no victim.
Yeah,
no, there were no real victims.
Victimless crime, right, Laura?
Cost of doing business.
Yeah. The truth is, now you put up a building that could hurt people, that could damage people, that is not up to code. That's not up to code. That's why it matters. That's why I want him under the jail. That's why I think that politicians and people in charge who we vote for should be held to a higher standard. That's it. That's all there is to it. I don't like any of his politics. I don't like any of his rules. He's been horrible for New York. He's been horrible for black people and people of color. He's kept on basically the stop and frisk deal. He's a horrible mayor, and he's corrupt. That's all there is to it. Now, there's another mayor, there's a governor who's also a Democrat. So I just want to make sure that I'm not going after him because he's a Democrat and because I just happened to say this to Dollamar. This was already in the books, right, Laura? Like, we already planned on doing this. When people do stupid things, we plan on talking about it.
Consequences.
Right. We cannot allow our biases to cloud our judgment to the point where we turn a blind eye when we see that people could be doing a better job. That's all it comes down to. That's all it comes down to. People, we still got 13 minutes till Kamala speaks. It will be here. It will be live. So do not fret. Do not go anywhere. This is the pregame. First was Eric Adams, who took money from the Turkish government and in return has given them favors. At least that's what's being alleged. I never liked his politics, but as far as the scandal goes, if he did it, he needs to be in jail. And all other Democrats are also saying that. That's important to say, Laura, because you notice that all the other Democrats haven't worn his same tie and dressed like him and stood in front of his house to repeat what he said. You realize that?
Yes.
Right. That's important to say as well. There used to be a time when it could be expected by most people on any party to say, hey, if this person is found to be corrupt, it's bad for all of us. Because then people are going to start looking into our finances. Right?
Yes.
At the very least. At the very least, you can expect them to police themselves. But now it doesn't matter. Because once truth no longer matters on one side, it doesn't even... you were caught with underage girls? No way.
That was years ago.
Fake news.
You know, boys will be boys.
Boys will be boys. Oh, he's a sex offender? Fake news. Fake news. No big deal. Oh, he's taking money from here and there? Fake news. So now they don't even have that to rein themselves in on the other side. But at the very least, people, the Democratic Party has not just come all in for this guy. All of them have said if he did it, he needs to go to jail. The most milquetoast of all of them, Cory Booker, said, hey, everyone's innocent until proven guilty. Let it play out in court. And if he is guilty, get rid of him. But I'm not going to weigh in. And of course, because that's his stomping grounds, you got to get your brother.
Right.
All right, so here we go. Governor Gavin Newsom vetoes the bill to help black families reclaim taken land. When you sent this to me, Laura, I was taken aback a bit. Not because I didn't think that Gavin Newsom could do something like this, but just because he just signed a bill that gave an apology for slavery.
Mm-hmm.
And this is the type of symbolism. What do they call that? Empty talk. Just straight up. I don't know. I'm losing all my words tonight, guys. I'm sorry. Well, what is that? When you just
Lip service.
Lip service that the right also sees on the left, or saw on the left, that kind of got them to where they are now. Because you just signed that. You signed that bill, give the lip service and apology as if that helps anybody. It does. It can help repair the damage. Only if it is followed up with action that helps as well. Sacramento, California. Governor Gavin Newsom vetoed a bill Wednesday that would have helped black families reclaim or be compensated for property that was unjustly taken by the government. The bill would have created a process for families to file a claim with the state if they believe the government seized their property through eminent domain due to discriminatory motives and without providing fair compensation. So, really quick, it's 9:52. Really quick, some of you may not know the history of this. There is redlining, but there was also in the 70s and 60s and the 50s, the idea that the government was going to put highways and byways in the middle of black towns, take the lands of the black people, leave one side of them to be destitute, and on the other side of it be prosperous. They took the lands, made the money through bills that basically used the eminent domain laws. That's where you can take land for public use and compensate the owner, put highways there, made money, and kept the black side as poor as possible on purpose. This is the history. This happened in all 50 states. It was crazy in New York, extremely bad in Chicago, extremely bad in California, in LA. And so these things happened. And the black folks there are saying that reduced our wealth generationally. We'd like to be compensated for that. You may call it reparations, but it's not even close. This is just a compensation for taken property. All right, so that's the history. The proposal by itself would not have been able to take full effect because lawmakers blocked another bill to create a reparations agency that would have reviewed the claims. I thank the author for his commitment to redressing. I don't know who's this quote. I'm guessing this is Newsom. I thank the author for his commitment to redressing past racial injustices, Newsom said in the statement. However, this bill tasks a non-existent state agency to carry out its various provisions and requirements, making it impossible to implement. Really? That's the excuse? Okay. Allow me to help you guys out then. Do you know how many other bills are on the books that are meant to be just for the sake of being able to push pieces of the project forward? There's hundreds of them in every state and in federal government. There are hundreds of them. There's bills for land that's not even seized yet. We have bills on what to do with land that we don't have yet. Pieces of these bills get put together. You can't implement it, but if you pass the bill, that means you are now have a mandate to gain the possibility of implementing it. That means you have the right to pass a new bill of implementation. If you don't have the mandate, the bill that just died has no reason to come back up. Am I making sense? I just want to make sure that people understand what I'm saying.
We can't do it because we don't have the money, and we have the money, but we're not going to do it because it's all too much for me. It's just...
So here's the deal. They were trying to pass a bill for reparations agency that would deal with how to give money to the people who needed it.
They want to create the agency. The agency doesn't exist. That's their reason for dismissing the bill. But the bill would have created the agency that would have carried it out.
Thank you.
So,
Thank you,
yes.
Laura. So by passing this bill, it would have put a mandate for an agency. So whatever it was that you didn't pass, the agency that wasn't there, you would have to make a new one for this bill. That's the point of the bill. Even if no one got $1 and the making of this next agency took forever, the mere fact that it's there and you have a mandate to work on this and it's in the public eye is the good thing. It's the thing that lets us know that we're on the right track. Now we're buried, and we're buried under a Democratic legislator who says, we're sorry for slavery, we really are. But that's all you get. Appreciate it, Newsom. Appreciate it. Definitely appreciate it.
They made some other gesture towards education or some access to literature, some other gesture.
Anything that doesn't take that money. Anything that we can do, guys, that won't take our finances, that won't take our money, we got you. And you know what? This thing says is now at 10:30. Is the September 29th at 10:30. The rally is now at 10:30.
Okay.
So we have an hour. So yeah, anything that we can do, guys, that doesn't put us out of our way too much. Right? Anything we can do, well, that doesn't inconvenience us too much. Appreciate it. Let me ask you this about Canada. You guys may not know that there is a new show on the horizon for this channel. It's called Canadian Drain, hosted by our lovely Laura Malcolm.
I even went out and bought a flag. Geez, we Canadians, we don't have flags all over our houses or anything. I had to make a trip to the Dollar Tree to buy me a flag. What did I do with it? Anyway.
we never did either before 9/11. Before 2001, flags just weren't flying off of everywhere like that. That became a... Well, yeah, we love the... I'll tell you what. In sports, I think there was a concerted effort to become more militaristic and waving the flag and having the flyovers in sports. That was a concerted effort by the military to do so. And we have there's actually documentation on how that happened, when it was implemented. So I'm not just talking out my egg here, guys.
Do you think that feeds into this sports-like mentality in the politics? It's just making it more tribal since they've been doing that kind of thing.
So no, that at the time, I think that now any symbol can be used, right? But when I don't think that it fed into that. I think that the flag and the freedom was just a really, really smart way for the right to capture, to use the symbols that they used. Because right now you'll see that at the DNC, there's flags everywhere, and we're taking freedom back. And all of these are just words that are meaningless in a political sense. It's how you use them and how it is. I don't think that that's the case. On the other hand, what it was implemented for was because we always needed to make sure that we had backing for the troops. It was a time when we need recruitment. The military was not doing very well right off of Vietnam, and they were trying to make sure that America stayed as patriotic as possible, so that they don't have another repeat of the '60s love movement, right? And it just became a part of our zeitgeist. All of our sports now start with the national anthem. It didn't before. That wasn't before that. All of our sports now have the color guard and the guys playing and the marching band. That wasn't like that before, right? So it was a very concerted effort to make sure that we keep America's eyes on the prize and that war money coming without too much disruption, right? Social disruption. So that's why they did that. Yeah, so
makes sense. Thank you.
You guys may not know that we have a new show on the channel called Canadian Drain, hosted by Laura Malcolm. Hey, listen, I'm so happy to announce it here. We got more breaking news. We have more news about Kamala Harris and something that happened at her headquarters, I believe, in Georgia, right? Talking about political violence. We need to talk about that.
Yeah.
But I'm asking you, for those who don't know that we have this new show, she put out, as the first episode, what would you call it? Like an explainer video about how your government and politics works. And I'm wondering, what is you can talk about that for a second and tell us about what your government has done as far as reparations. Because I know that they had a lot more liberal. Maybe I'm wrong. You tell me about the Indians and reparations and stuff like that. What has your government done on that front?
Okay, well, where to start? All right, well, my introduction, in episode 1, which is mine, was to briefly go over how our politics and government work and how they're so different from yours and so boring that we don't pay attention to them unless they really try to shove stuff down our throat. And generally we just only listen when we're really mad about something. But anyway, so that was just to introduce Canadian politics and government. But we have a prime minister in his 3rd consecutive term up here, and he is running for a 4th.
Wow.
This is a first in Canada. The only other prime minister to have had that many terms, or 4 terms, was his dad, but they were not consecutive. So yes, he actually appeared on Stephen Colbert this week, Justin did. And the Conservative Party is very much like your Republican Party. They've always been yahoos and screamers and trying to stir up trouble, trying to pretend that the problem is everybody else's and they could do so much better. You're familiar with the theme, right?
Yeah.
It's the same everywhere.
Yeah.
But the Canadian public, are they truly as fed up with Trudeau or as one would have us believe, or are we just fine with them keeping going? And especially at a critical time in history where there's so much upheaval internationally, my preference is just keep things steady. Let's not shake things up right now. But we'll see what happens, because so far he's holding off the push for an election this fall, but it's teetering. So we might have one this fall, but he would likely have called one in June anyhow. So that's where we're at.
Okay.
And yes, as for the reparations, we have a long and shameful history up here of our own of with the Indigenous peoples, wiping them out and treating them as less than, and forcing them off their lands and so on. So there's been under both Trudeau's government, there have been efforts to bridge this wrong and make it right somehow. After the 60s scoop, which was a famous thing that happened here, where children were taken from their families and put into Christian schools and homes and so on. They destroyed a lot of lives. Very sad history. A lot of death and disease.
I would love to hear your take on one of your.
I will. I will definitely that. Yeah, but in the last years, we're doing a lot more, giving more official status, the tribal leaders, giving them more say in government and development and what goes on, preserving the and so it's ongoing up here with reparations.
So for was there ever money, property, tangibles, land given?
Yes, land for sure. Well, I'm not sure.
Real quick, I wasn't.
No, I'm not sure about whether it was cash reparation. There's a lot of other rights restored.
Okay. Well, listen, guys. I
will definitely do an episode on that, and the missing and murdered Indigenous women, which you also have, unfortunately.
We have that here as well. There was a whole pipeline from here to Canada. All right, guys. So we're going to be talking about that in the coming weeks. Everybody give it up for Laura Malcolm and the Canadian
In fact,
that's going to be awesome. Go ahead.
Today is don't tell me. I hope I didn't. It's Every Child Matters Indigenous Memory. Where is it? Bad of me. Anyhow, yes, I will be doing more on that.
Okay.
In upcoming episodes.
All right, so guys, one more quick thing that I want to show you, or maybe not one more. We have a few more, but depending on when the live show starts with Kamala, Vice President Kamala, I want to remind you, in case you were thinking that all is lost, and the bad people always win. Alex Jones is now going to have to sell off pieces of his company and everything he has because of his lies, his disgusting, gross lies that he told about the Sandy Hook people not really dying. It was a hoax, that all of the parents were crisis actors, all of those parents who got death threats after losing their children because he was spreading that lie. He was ordered to pay $1 billion. Then he filed for bankruptcy so he could avoid paying for it. Well, a judge has just now said that they're going to auction off everything he has, including his company, to the highest bidder. And, let me find it here. And in doing so, this guy will be giving at least whatever, it's not even close to what he owes, but at least we know that he's suffering for his indecency, for his rank and wrought disposition that he and the platform that he had that he used for evil. Let's watch this story because it feels really good. It feels really good.
Conspiracy theorist Alex Jones continues the finding out portion after effing around on the wrong families. Judge in Houston has ordered that InfoWars and all of its assets to be sold off piece by piece in auctions this fall to help pay for the more than $1 billion he owes relatives of victims of the Sandy Hook elementary school shooting. Yes, that's right. You now may be able to own your own little piece of InfoWars. I'm not sure why you would want to. I mean, it might take a while to get the smell off. Just saying. Now, U.S. bankruptcy judge Christopher Lopez said in a court hearing that he will approve the auctions that start in November. And here we go. Now, that said, the judge must first change the previous order to make it clear that the trustee overseeing Jones' personal bankruptcy case controls all the assets of InfoWars, parent company Free Speech Systems, which is owned 100% by Jones, at least for the moment. Okay. Now, first, Jones had tried to claim bankruptcy in order to, I think, hide his assets. Let's be honest. But back in June, Lopez converted Jones' personal bankruptcy reorganization case into a complete and total liquidation. So, and of course, the photo that you see there is my sidebar. If you can remember, that was during that case where Jones had pretty much liquidated his pants. All right, as a result of him accidentally, or I should say his lawyer, accidentally sending the opposition lawyer a whole bunch of stuff. Yeah, from his personal cell phone. Oops. So now, that same day, Lopez also dismissed Free Speech Systems' bankruptcy case after Jones and the families could not reach an agreement on a final plan in order to pay off that $1 billion. Because that's a lot of money. Now, the sell-off order Lopez intends to approve would put InfoWars intellectual property up for auction on November 13th, including its trademarks, copyrighted material, social media accounts, and websites. Jones' personal social media sites, including his account on the social platform X, which has 2.8 million followers, is not included at the moment.
Okay. Big applause for the liquidation of Jones's pants.
Oh.
Yes. Hey, I didn't. Let me hear that whistle one more time. Yes, that's more appropriate. Hey, so Laura, turn on if you look in your screen, it says original sound, because all the musical stuff is going to get taken out unless you have that original sound on. So guys, here's the deal.
Mm-hmm.
Alex Jones has to sell off his entire company and all of his assets in order to pay just a fraction of what he owes of the $1 billion to the parents and the families that he destroyed after their lives were destroyed by losing their children. He destroyed it further by having many of them have to move, finding themselves in find themselves in hiding, changing their names. Their lives were ended and destroyed because this guy told the world that their kids never died, they were paid actors, and Sandy Hook never happened. On another note, somebody said, "Who's to stop these people like Stone, Roger Stone, or really rich people from just buying it, buying all of these assets and giving it right back to them?" I say, here is where people like Oprah, people like Taylor Swift, here's where our friends with a lot of money can do something that they can feel good about. Because it's going to the highest bidder. It's not, right? There's no price on it. So there are people in high places that I think could help us out here. What do you think, Laura? Can we send a petition?
I think I can get somebody to get that sort of idea rolling around in certain people's heads.
Yes.
Yes,
The
I
highest
think
bidder.
I think I know a little somebody. Yeah, let's work on that. Yeah.
So I'm loving that
Well,
idea.
thank you to whoever left that comment.
So
Great
I
suggestion.
yes. So I saw that from somebody who said it online, and people left a comment as well. So listen, let's get that done. But Alex Jones deserves everything he gets. I wish we could have watched him cry like he did in the last courtroom, but I don't think he was there this time. Leave your comments about what you think needs to be done with this money. Who we need to contact to buy a piece of it. Has anybody been talking in the comment section? I see you guys are
No.
there. Nobody's talking.
Few people have come in and are hanging out in the background there, but
Okay.
nobody's come and said hi yet. Hello.
No
Hi
worries.
there.
No worries.
You matter to us. You matter to us too. All of you.
All of you matter. So that's really the big news that I wanted to put out there. We have other news. We have some funny news. We have 9 minutes and 7 seconds as it stands before this rally in Las Vegas starts. Okay? And we're going to have it here live. We are just giving a rundown of all the stuff we missed from our TGIF. And one of these funny moments that we missed that we wanted to talk about was this. I'm going to play it first, and then we're going to talk about what it means. Check this out, guys. Check this out.
Hey, Darla.
Darla's here.
Do you remember that video of Trump handing out $100 at a store that went viral the other day? Well, it turns out that the family that Trump gave that $100 to...
Wait a minute. Darla's here. I wanted to make sure that you saw the beginning of it. The beginning of this, where we roasted two top Democratic leaders, one in New York, one in California, for being ridiculous, being corrupt, or lying, or being foolish, or non-historical. All the things. And so I wanted to make sure you saw that, Darla. It's important that you know that we go after who we think deserves it. And if you know anybody on the other side that deserves it, that our biases have missed, that our blind spots have missed, and you happen to be a Republican or or a TYT follower and happen to know something that we don't know, tell us about it so that we can
Right
bring
on.
it up and so that we can flame them.
Agree, but I mean, let's get rid of this idea of giving equal time to or
Yes.
both sidesing. No.
Yes, it has to rise
There's
to
a
the level.
difference here that's, elephants and apples.
It has to rise to the level. With what we're watching.
Oh, Darla's saying she can't hear you.
Uh-oh.
I can.
Uh-oh. Here, let me turn it back up. Yeah, see. I think it's,
dear.
Yeah, it's because I'm getting a little bit of an echo. So let me turn this down. So what I was saying, Darla, was that if you missed it, in the beginning, we roasted, we flamed two Democratic people, the Democratic mayor of New York and Gavin Newsom, for their half-heartedness, for their lying, for their corruption, for their ahistorical takes. And it's important that you know, but important that everybody knows, that we try our hardest to talk about things that we think rise to the level of, newsworthiness and discussion, no matter who you are. But because there's so much craziness on the right, it's very easy to miss something. So if you are on the right, if you're on the right, or if you're not even on the right, but are tuned into things we're not, and you see a blind spot that we don't have, or somebody who needs to be taken down a peg because of their disgustingness, because of their ridiculousness, tell us. Tell us. We love to hear it.
Darla says her dad always said never trust a guy with slicked back hair about Newsom. Well, what does that say about? I'm not gonna say it. I'm not gonna say it.
Never trust a guy with slick back hair.
Not gonna talk about hair. Never trust a guy who's had his scalp rotated 3 times.
Hey, listen. Hey, listen. There was a guy, Rob Emanuel, who was there was quite a few slick back hair Democrats in Chicago. So I can tell you, and all of them were corrupt. There may be something to that. There may be
talked
something
about Cuomo too. Cuomo is slick.
Cuomo has the slick back hair. There is maybe, darling, is a blind spot in there. All right. On to the next story. Listen, guys, real quick. We got 10 minutes before Kamala comes on, and I want you to see this funniness right here. Let's go to it.
Just dropped a bombshell about Trump on Fox News. And they basically confirmed that, like a lot of people have been saying, this whole thing was a stunt that was staged with actors. And you won't believe just how much it was actually staged. So we'll get into all of those details here in a second, but first, let's talk about another time that Trump completely staged an event that was supposed to make him look good. So earlier this year, Trump made a campaign stop at a Chick-fil-A. And at the time, it just seemed like a normal campaign stop where he went in for some food on a whim.
I don't even want to go in on that.
Look at the way you hold. You like each other, right? I think that's very nice.
Let's go here.
Nice to see you.
I don't care about the Chick-fil-A because there's something else that I want to get to quickly.
We'll give them out to the people and we'll take some for ourselves, okay? Good, thank you.
Here we go.
You know that Trump has a history of staging campaign stops. Let's take a look at this most recent stop where he handed out $100. Take a look at this bombshell that this family dropped on Fox News.
Good morning to both of you.
Good morning.
Good morning.
So, Jenny, tell us a little bit about that. So your cousin owns that store, and the Trump team called up and said, hey, we would like to have a family at the checkout. Is that right?
Yes.
And what else did they tell you?
Not much other than we were hoping to opportunity to meet him, and the fact that he handed us $100 was a complete surprise.
Yeah, that family was not just some random family, it was a family that was related to the owner of the store. And sure, they didn't know that they'd get money for it, but this was still a very planned event that shows that Trump is incapable of just doing nice things spontaneously. And it's honestly not surprising given, one, how unpopular he is with the general public.
But there's something more important than that, people. See, when you say, I'm going to stop at this grocery store and I'm just going to give somebody $100, it just so happens that as transactional as he is, he's talking to the family of the people who own the store. He talks to the owner of the store. I'm wondering how many campaign contributions he's gotten. But more even importantly than that is the fact that Trump is doing everything he can as a salesman, as the type of guy who puts his name on the top of every building that he owns, the type of guy who puts his name on the side of beef that he buys, who puts his name on the helicopter. The only thing he understands is marketing. To the point where this guy goes out. Watch this. This guy goes out. And he's been doing this for months now. Hopefully, can people hear me? Am I all right? Can people hear me? All right, good. For months now, his staging of $100 is just the least of it.
You might
Watch
still
this.
be entitled to hundreds of thousands of dollars, even if the accident seemed minor or you were just a passenger.
So that was Donald Trump yesterday arriving in
This is what he's been doing.
Pennsylvania.
He's got the fight fist out. He's waving like Miss America. There's no one there. People of YouTube, I need you to understand how ridiculous, how far gone this is. There's no one there. You realize that if your grandfather did that, when he got out the car, started waving down the sidewalk of emptiness, you would say, it's time to go to the home, sir. There's no one there. He puts up the fist, fight, and he stands. We're going to stand here so the
that was
can be taken. The man is losing it. He's lost it. He's given $100 to people who can only help him, the transactional. But that's not the only time that's happened. This happened coming out of his building, Laura. This happened coming out of the plane many times. This is at least the third time I've seen this. And you're saying to yourself, doesn't he know that Like, who is he doing this for? The camera, whatever cameras are there, can't just be his. He doesn't think that people are going to see that there's no one else there that he's waving to? This is the same thing he did.
I don't know.
At his event. The last event he had, he's telling people, no, those people aren't leaving. Oh my God. This is the vanity of it. It's all a ruse. It's all marketing. And people are being sucked up into it. What I'm trying to do is break the cycle, break the chain, break that hold. If you come across this and you think that Trump somehow has, what whatever you think he has, this gathering of people who are always following him and loving him, it's not the case. He's waving at no one, and he's been doing it for a while because his ego can't handle reality, real life. That's why he can be bought. That's why he can be used and played by people like Putin. And Kamala can destroy his life with a single sentence and telling him people are leaving his rallies.
Even whatever entourage he does have with him changes from week to week. I mean, wasn't it Loomer who just got booted? I mean, he's got a rapid turnover there. No family except maybe Eric once in a while and Lara.
Yes, everybody keeps turning because
nobody likes him.
Nobody likes him.
And he doesn't like anybody.
There you go.
That's mutual.
The more important thing
there you go, transactional. I hate you as much as you hate me.
It's all a big transaction. That's more importantly. He doesn't like anybody, including his own family, unless they can do something for him. But yeah, let me see if I could find the one where he's talking to his own crowd. Either way, he's talking to the crowd, and while people in the crowd are leaving, he's telling the rest of the crowd they're not really leaving. My people said that people can take a photo with me after it, and so they're telling them to go and set up back there. This is live.
And by the way, there's also 50,000 people out there milling around who couldn't get in, apparently.
There's 50,000 people that couldn't get in.
Yeah.
You know how this can happen though, Laura, is because he knows for a fact that the people who are in that place will never hear or see the footage of anything else. He can say with confidence that crime has gone up and illegal immigration has caused it. Even though all the numbers say differently and everywhere else will say differently, it won't matter because they'll never hear it. He can say right in front of their faces. First of all, they want to be lied to. Let's be honest. We have footage of that as well. But he can say right in front of their faces, there's 50,000, you guys saw it, right? And they go, yeah, dear leader, yeah, we saw it. In the book 1984 by George Orwell, he talks about how you can get people to believe things that even they know are not true. And it's just like that. Because he said it, they believe it, they'll go home, not believe their lying eyes, and will never turn on the news or anywhere else that will go outside and just take a picture that's everywhere of what it looked like outside the rally they were just at. They'll never see it. They'll never see it. It's an indictment on our news media, but it's also a scary thought. To know that you can have people that far gone. Anyway, it's almost that time. What do we have? 10:29. Yep. Anybody else talking in that comment section? You guys all right?
Oh, Darla hasn't said another word so far except to confirm that Newsom is creepy.
Facts. So only Darla's talking to us? You guys? Oh, wow, it still keeps on going. Now it's at 10:45. They keep on moving it back,
boy.
Laura.
Uh-oh. Wonder what the problem is. Wonder what the holdup it could possibly be. Maybe Maybe weather related? I don't think so if she's in Las Vegas. Let's see.
Yeah, Las Vegas doesn't have weather. It's just hot and sand. That's it.
So weather in Las Vegas stays in Las Vegas.
Right. Whatever happens. They don't have weather in Las Vegas.
No,
they have
clear and sunny.
They have
is.
daytime and nighttime, hot.
Yeah.
and hot. That's it. Yeah. So it's there's nothing.
Hot and less hot.
All right. Well, now it's at 10:45. They keep moving it back. Luckily for you guys, we have more stories for you. One of them is. There was a shooting.
Mm-hmm.
There was another shooting in this climate that we're talking about, people, where everybody needs to tamp down the rhetoric, which is absolutely, it's not everybody. One, people are telling the truth and the others aren't, but everybody needs to tamp down the rhetoric because the president, the ex-president, has been shot at once and was almost allegedly shot at again. I said and have been saying for a very long time, and everybody who subscribes will know that I said the idea of the nonviolent election season and the nonviolent elections is in the past. We can expect to see the violence, and this is what I meant. That is what I meant. And this here also is what I meant. This will become a normal thing. Now, most of these people are crazy. Of course, most people who shoot at anybody in public are crazy. But the fact that after the 20th, after the way that our politics is looking and the way that rhetoric has gone and the idea that people have gone off the deep end, fascism on the rise, elections have been denied. These types of things are stuff you can't put the toothpaste back in the bottle, and we can expect violent elections like other countries have had, like we've never had since the Civil War, except for a few places in the South that were trying to make sure that black people couldn't vote. There was violence then during elections, for sure, but not nationwide. Check this out, guys. Another symptom of where we are.
Did you know that in Texas, rifles can be carried in public without a license? Whereas in Florida, no open carrying is allowed, except in unique situations like in hunting or fishing.
Investigation is underway by police there. What appears to be gunfire damage overnight at a Democratic Party coordinated campaign office for Vice President Kamala Harris. The incident occurred just a few days before Harris is scheduled to visit Arizona as she campaigns for the presidency. So there are more details unraveling, more emerging. The apparent gunfire marks the second incident of criminal damage at that office in just recent weeks, according to Tempe police, who said that just after midnight, September 16th, the office front windows were hit with what appeared to be a BB gun or pellet gun. You see the damage there.
With millions watching and many people benefiting from this.
So, guys, that's the second time that this place has been shot at, once with a BB gun and once not.
Tempe police said that officers responded Monday after calls from workers and that they observed what appeared to be gunshots through the front windows of the office, which is shared by staff members for the Arizona Democratic Party. Harris campaign and Senate and House campaigns to boost turnout for the party in November. No one was inside the office during the overnight hours, but this raises concerns about the safety of those who work in that building as well as those nearby. Public Information Officer Sergeant Ryan Cook said in a statement on Tuesday, NBC News with the reporting, Arizona Democratic Party, all over this one, concern, the chairwoman, Yolanda Bejarano, said in a statement that it was, quote, extremely sad that the Arizona Democratic Party has become the target of violence. It's not who we are as Arizonans or Americans. We are working with law enforcement to ensure that this threat is taken seriously, that our staff members are safe while They're at work, she added.
I always find it interesting when people's response to a shooting, in any case, in anywhere, at schools, at a presidential candidate, well, not on the right because they don't say this, but whenever it is in the most public sphere, we always hear someone say, "It's not who we are," when clearly it's who we are. Does that ever does that ever interest anybody else? Do you guys ever notice that? How many times this isn't who we are here. Our town isn't like this. It is. It just happened. You're denying something that is actually happening right now. It's not who we are, it's who we are. Saying that it's not who we are is denying the truth, which will make sure that it happens again. We, as Americans, are in such denial. This isn't who we are. We're not really like this. Yes, we are. This is exactly what we're like. If we don't look at it that way, then we'll never change it. We'll keep on trying to call the police when it happens, but never expect it before it does, because we want to believe that this isn't who we are. The only way to get rid of this stuff, after we get rid of Donald Trump and the crazy rhetoric and the fascistic leanings, after that, the only way to really make sure that this stuff doesn't happen is to make sure that we have proper regulation on these guns. Mm-hmm. Proper laws on the guns. Mm-hmm. We're never going to get rid of them. It's too late. But we need buyback programs so we can at least do that. We need regulations to ensure that nobody can get them who shouldn't have them. Do you know that Ooh, I think it's coming on. You know, in Switzerland, they love guns. I believe it's Switzerland. They love guns as much as we do.
Well, I have a follow-up to that.
Go ahead.
We're not starting immediately. Well, Biden has just signed a bill aimed at reducing gun violence, so...
Ooh, I'd love to hear that before we start.
All right.
Good old... See, guys, that's why we
Joe's still your president. Our president.
You're feeling more American every day, Laura.
I do. I love Joe. He's still the president, and he's just signed an order aimed at reducing gun violence. And, okay, the video's coming up. Do you want me to send you the video?
Yeah. Actually, you know
okay.
what?
Is it starting?
Yeah, it's starting, but I think I'm having that live problem.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
You need me to pick it up. If we need to close down the stream and restart it, I can pick it up on my OBS.
Let's see what happens.
Okay. Well, this link that I clicked on has the video, if you want to play that. And I'll set up my OBS in case we have to restart.
I'm afraid to move.
Yeah.
Let's see, guys. It's working now. I'm gonna keep it right there until we get it. So, you say that Joe Biden just signed something about guns?
Yeah, I couldn't find the meat of the article. Hang on. I just sent you a link with a video. For some reason, it was really loading slowly, and I couldn't find the details of the whatever he signed.
All right, we'll keep an eye on this. Let me see if we can find that video while this happens.
I am going to have a faster laptop in a few days, thank goodness. Okay.
I was still looking at we'll toggle back and forth between Harris and this video. It's still waiting, so we're good. Let's see what Joe Biden just did. This sounds interesting.
The order creates the Emerging Firearms Threats Task Force, charges it with providing a report in 3 months to assess the threat posed by automatic weapons and 3D printed guns. Okay.
There's still more to do, but the steps we've taken so far in reducing gun violence and saving lives are real, but we have to keep going. There's so much more we have to do.
I believe the right to be safe is a civil right. And that the people of America have a right, then, to live, work, worship, and learn without fear of violence, including gun violence. And yet, our nation is experiencing an epidemic of gun violence. And it is a false to suggest you are either in favor of the Second Amendment or you want to take everyone's guns away. I am in favor of the Second Amendment, and I believe we need to reinstate the assault weapons ban.
I'm not even in favor of the Second Amendment like it's written. I think it needs to be changed at the very least.
Updated, yeah.
Yeah. So he just signed something into law there. It's not giving us much about it, but I'll let you read it. What you got?
Yeah. Okay. The Bureau of ATF, Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms and Explosives, has expressed concern over the rapid growth and number of machine gun and conversion devices. That's really all it says, is that they're going to have this task force to report on machine guns and 3D printed guns.
So let me tell you why that's important, Laura. You may not know this. In America right now.
Also funnels federal money towards several other gun violence prevention programs, red flag laws. All right. Justice Department putting $135 million towards state implementation of red flag laws.
Nice. Now we're talking.
Yeah. And $85 million to community violence prevention efforts. Machine gun conversion devices and 3D printed guns represent a major and growing threat to American communities. These new approaches and investments, paired with additional support for community violence intervention programs and red flag laws, will save lives, says former Rep. Gabrielle Giffords, who was shot. Yeah. So, so Biden signed the first bipartisan gun safety legislation in a generation 2 years ago. Okay. More ambitious proposals the Democrat has long supported, like universal background checks or renewal of assault weapons ban, failed to gain traction. Okay, they're just, yeah. You had something to say?
Yeah, so here's the deal. That task force may seem like not important, and none of it is strong enough to do real stuff, but anything we can do is better than doing nothing.
Yeah,
but that task force is really important.
Yeah.
And you guys may not know this, and you may not know this, Laura, simply because in America, we can't even research gun violence. We have no one to report it. The Congress of the United States stopped the bill that was the CDC money to look into gun violence, to just give numbers, just look into it, research it. We don't even have an agency. We don't have the agency to get numbers and research on violence, how, why, and numbers of who that's come up to do this has been stopped by Republicans in Congress. So believe it or not, a little thing like getting a task report to some government, way or any way, believe it or not, little thing is gigantic, because we couldn't even do that. We couldn't even do that. thanks to gun lobbies money. Do you know who's got the most money from the NRA in the history of the NRA? Trump. Donald Trump. While he gets shot at, and people in his crowd die, he's backing all of the inappropriate measures and to ensure that it happens again. Much of the NRA, much of the money he got from the NRA is believed to have been funneled from Russia, and they used it as a way to funnel Putin's money to his campaign through the NRA. Double whammy. There's where we are with guns.
Yeah.
So that's
Darla
pretty big.
says,
I like that.
Yeah, bad guys will always be able to obtain guns illegally. Yes, Darla, yes, that's true. But, that's what they say every time we try to do something. And, it doesn't mean we shouldn't try to do better and be more responsible and make the penalties greater and
no, that's
make access harder, all of that,
Okay, so in America, right now, that's true. In the world, that's not true, Darla. That's not true. It's not true. The thing is, the reason why bad guys are always able to get guns in America is because we're flowing in it.
Yeah.
Is because we're up to our gills in it. That's why. In other countries, that's not true, where they don't have them. All right, let's watch this. All right, we
Mexican immigrants. I'm a father, a husband, and a middle-class worker. Para mi gente latina, me llamo Noé y soy hijo de inmigrantes mexicanos. Soy padre, esposo y trabajador de la clase media.
All right, do you guys want to do the front speeches?
When I look at my children,
because I'd love to talk more about the gun
Kamala
debate.
Harris is the only choice.
I'll let you guys in the comment section decide. If you want us to watch all of the uprunners, the forerunners to her speech,
I want my
you
children
can.
to live in a country where you don't have to work multiple jobs to put food on the table or pay your rent.
Darla says she has no sound.
Vice President Harris is putting everyday middle-class working families first. Families like mine, family like yours. She's going to fight to cut costs and create union jobs that my community depends on.
I think that may have been before. Asna, it was shut off for a minute.
And of
Good
vital
now?
importance.
Okay, yeah.
I want
okay.
my daughters to have a future where their
All right.
reproductive freedom
So we
is
can watch all the
protected.
front runners up until it comes. And if not, I can have some more conversation about this.
A future where they can always get health care they need and not worry about whether or not they can afford it or whether or not it's legal. Now, this is particularly relevant for my family because one of my daughters suffers from a rare, debilitating genetic disorder known as Rett syndrome. It's a battle that my family and I have been fighting for many years. And the Biden-Harris administration has already helped my family by increasing funding for rare disease research so people like my daughter can have a better quality of life. That means everything to my wife and I. I know Vice President Harris will continue to fight to make health care more accessible and affordable for everyone. Now, my parents immigrated to the United States for a better future. They did it for myself, for my siblings. They believed in the American dream. And now, Vice President Harris and Governor Walz are fighting to protect the promise of America for everyone. So as the son of immigrants, a father, a husband, and a proud member of the working class, I'm proud to support Vice President Harris and Governor Walz in this election.
A long pause there.
I'm going to vote for the leaders who have been fighting for people like me and my family all along.
He's not a public speaker, I guess.
Well, Darla's laughing. She says she's not interested in what they have to say. No kidding, Darla. Well, we'll make you listen. I am disabling your mute switch from a distance.
Darla, your switch is getting turned off. You gotta listen. All right, hold on. Let me. While we're doing this, if anybody else wants to chime in, you have a chance to. If you want to hear it, it's up to you. But you got to type. You got to let us know. The only person who's talking now with us says that she doesn't mind that we have it off. So that's what we're gonna do until she comes on or until I hear something else. But I want to go back to this gun issue because it's so important. Every time that I hear someone say, criminals will always find a way, here she comes, will always find a way to get a gun, I say, tell that to the officers in the UK, the United Kingdom, that don't have guns. Police officers in the United Kingdom that don't have guns. They do not have guns. There's a special force that has it just in case. Most police walk around, respond, and do their thing, police, without weapons. Because they don't need it. Because they don't have them. Not even the criminals. Remember that. I would love for that to be us. I would love to be that free. I think you would too. You just don't think it can happen. But I'm telling you it can.
All right. Let's get to it.
Let's do this.
She says, but to be fair, she doesn't care what Trump has to say. We'll take that.
Also fair.
Thank you. And can we please hear for Captain Quintero? Oh, thank you, everyone. Oh, it is so wonderful to be back in Nevada. Thank you all. Thank you. And happy Hispanic Heritage Month to everyone.
All right, we'll play this without interruption. We'll be back when it's done. I'm just going to turn off my, unless I hear something that I need to correct or
It's good to be
whatever.
back, and I want to thank everyone
keep talking
for all
to us.
that
Let
you
us
do.
know.
I know we have some extraordinary elected leaders here, and I want to thank them for their incredible work and friendship. It is good to be with all the leaders who are here, including Representative Susie Lee, who is here, Stephen Horsford, Dina Titus, the great General Ford, Catherine Masto, we're going to send back to the United States Senate. Thank you, everyone, and all the leaders, so many leaders here. It is good to be back with you. Thank you. And wait a minute, we also tonight have here some of the Vegas Raiders who won their game tonight. Oh, congratulations. You came right from the game. Congratulations. Give them an applause, right? So, in all seriousness, everyone, before I begin, I want to say a few words about Hurricane Helene. And please have a seat if you're able. I want to talk about Hurricane Helene for a moment. And I know that everyone here sends their thoughts and prayers for the folks who have been so devastated by that hurricane and the ensuing events in Florida, in Georgia, the Carolinas, and other impacted states. And we know that so many have been impacted, some have died.
Sorry, I was off mic. Gotta click that X, get rid of the chat.
Doing everything you can to
okay, we're
think
good
about
now,
them,
it's full.
Send them your thoughts, send them your prayers. I want to thank the first responders who have done so much. And we will stand with these communities for as long as it takes to make sure that they are able to recover and rebuild. Earlier today, I received an operational briefing from FEMA Director Criswell. More than 3,300 federal personnel have been mobilized. We are deploying food, water, and generators and working to restore water and power. And the President and I have told state and local leaders we will provide whatever help they need in the days and weeks ahead. And so I thank you all for sending your best wishes to everyone there. Thank you. So, Las Vegas, we have 37 days until the election. 37 days. And we know this will be a tight race until the very end. And let's level set. We are the underdog. We are the underdog, and we have some hard work ahead. But here's the thing. We like hard work. Hard work is good work. Hard work is good work. And with your help, we will win in November. Yes, we will. Yes, we will. Yes, we will. We will win. We will win. We will win. And here's why. And here's why. And here's why. Because we here know that this election is about two very different visions for our nation. And the contrast, I think, was quite clear in our debate. Did you all see the debate? You saw the debate. And in 2 days, I know we will cheer on Coach Walz when he debates J.D. Vance. Yeah. But listen, also, their debate should not be the last word. I'm trying to debate Donald Trump again, and I think he should debate again. The American people have a right to hear us discuss the issues. And as you say here in Las Vegas, I'm all in. I'm all in. Even if my opponent is ready to fold. So there you go. But you will remember in our first debate, I talked about issues like bringing down the cost of living, investing in small businesses, protecting reproductive freedom, and keeping our nation secure. But from Donald Trump, well, it was the same old tired playbook. Same old tired playbook. With no plan on how he would address the needs of the American people. Well, folks, it's time to turn the page. It's time to turn the page. America is ready to chart a new way forward. Ready for a new and optimistic generation of leadership. Which is why Democrats, Republicans, and independents are supporting our campaign because we know we need a president who works for all the American people. Enough of the division, enough of the hate. We are all in this together. And you all know from my entire career, I've only had one client, the people. The people. From being a young courtroom prosecutor in Oakland, I stood up for women and children against predators. As Attorney General of California, I took on the big banks and delivered $20 billion for middle-class families who faced foreclosure. I stood up for veterans and students being scammed by for-profit colleges. For workers who are being cheated out of their wages. And I pledge to you as president, I will fight for all Americans, and together we will build a brighter future for our nation. We will build a future that includes thinking about our economy in a way that it is about lifting everyone up. We will build what I call an opportunity economy, so that every American has an opportunity to own a home, to build wealth, to start a business. And let me tell you, I love our small businesses, of which I've met so many right here in Vegas. You know, growing up, our mother worked very long hours, and so my sister Maya and I would go over 2 doors down to Miss Shelton's house. We called her our second mother, and Miss Shelton was a small business owner. So I know since I was a young child who our small businesses are, who our small business owners are. Small businesses are the backbone of America's economy. I know that. I know that. And Latina small business owners are the fastest growing segment of our economy. So my plan is about tapping into that ambition, those aspirations, those dreams, those incredible ideas, that strong work ethic that people have. Also understanding not everybody gets handed $4 million on a silver platter and files for bankruptcy 6 times. So my plan is about saying, we've got to help entrepreneurs, startups out, and I will give a $50,000 tax deduction to help entrepreneurs start their small businesses. Because right now, that tax deduction is $5,000. Can't nobody start a small business in 2024? So we're gonna make it something where it is doable to lift folks up. We also need to build more housing in America. My mother saved up for years, till I was a teenager, when she was able to buy our first home. And right now, a serious housing shortage is part of what is driving up costs. So we will cut the red tape and work with the private sector to build 3 million new homes. And provide first-time home buyers with $25,000 down payment assistance. So you can just get your foot in the door. You'll do the rest. And we must lower the cost of living, because while our economy is doing well by many measures, prices for everyday things like groceries are still too high. You know it and I know it. So I have a plan that includes lowering costs on everything from healthcare to groceries, including I will take on the corporate price gouging that we know has resulted in jacking prices up, often around tragedies and emergencies. We will give a tax cut to 100 million more Americans, including $6,000 during the first year of a child's life, knowing that the vast majority of our young parents have a natural desire to parent their children well, but not always the resources to do it. And that $6,000 in extending and expanding the child tax credit will help buying a crib, buying a car seat, doing the things that are so critical in that first phase of life. I will also make sure good-paying jobs are available to all Americans, not only those with college degrees. Because we need to recognize the value of additional paths, such as apprenticeships and technical programs. And so, as president, part of how I'm going to push this forward is I will get rid of unnecessary degree requirements for federal jobs, understanding that having a college degree is not the only measure of the skills and experience of a worker. And when we do that with the federal workforce, I'm coming to ask the private sector, challenge you to do the same. So all of this is to say, I will always put the middle class and working families first. I come from the middle class, and I will never forget where I come from. Never. Now, Donald Trump has a different plan. Yeah. Just Google Project 2025. Which I have to say, I still can't believe they put that thing in writing. They printed it up, they bound it, they handed it out. Just Google it. It is a detailed and dangerous blueprint for what he would do if he were elected again as president. Donald Trump will give billionaires and corporations massive tax cuts. Again, cut Social Security and Medicare, and impose what I call a Trump sales tax, which would be a 20% tax on everyday basic necessities, which economists have measured would cost the average family nearly $4,000 more a year in everyday expenses. And on top of all this, Donald Trump intends to end the Affordable Care Act. And he has no plan to replace it. He has, quote, concepts of a plan. Concepts. So here's the thing, though. We can laugh about many things, but the consequences of this are quite serious. Quite serious. Because think about it. He's going to threaten health coverage and health insurance for 45 million people in our country based on a concept? And take us back to when insurance companies could deny people with pre-existing conditions? You remember what that was like? Well, we are not going back. We are not going back. We're not going back. We're not going back. We will move forward. we will take on the biggest issues facing our nation. We have talked about the economy. We have talked about what we can do in terms of investing in the ambition, the aspirations of our country. We will take on the issue of immigration. We will take on a number of issues. On the subject of immigration, we must have comprehensive immigration reform with strong border security and an earned pathway to citizenship, including for hard-working immigrants who have been here for years, including our dreamers, And I was Attorney General of a border state. I prosecuted transnational criminal organizations who traffic in guns, drugs, and human beings. And as president, I will double the resources for the Department of Justice to go after those transnational cartels and take action to stop the flow of fentanyl coming into our country, which is destroying entire communities. These are serious problems, and we know Donald Trump won't solve them. When he was president, he did nothing to fix our immigration system. And earlier this year, we had a chance to pass the toughest bipartisan border security bill in decades. And Donald Trump tanked the bill because he thought that that bill, if passed, would have hurt him and he'd prefer to run on a problem instead of fixing a problem. That's not the kind of president we want. As president, he cruelly separated families and plans to do it again. And he continues to fan the flames of fear and division. Look, we need a president who cares more about solving problems than playing political games and demeaning people full time. We're tired of that. We're done with that. So Nevada, ours is a fight for the future. And it is a fight for freedom. Like the fundamental freedom of a woman to be able to make decisions about her own body and not have her government tell her what to do. And we remember how we got here. Donald Trump hand-selected 3 members of the United States Supreme Court, the Court of Thurgood and RBG, so that they would do as they did and overturn the protections of Roe v. Wade. And now, 1 in 3 women in America lives in a state with a Trump abortion ban. Many with no exceptions even for rape and incest. It is immoral, immoral. And let us agree, one does not have to abandon their faith or deeply held beliefs to agree the government shouldn't be telling her what to do. If she chooses, she will talk with her priest, her pastor, her rabbi, her imam, but not the government telling her what to do with her body. Come on. And with Jackie Rosen back in the United States Senate, when Congress passes a bill to restore reproductive freedom, as President of the United States, I will proudly sign it into law. Proudly sign it into law. And Nevada, you know, I'm traveling all over our country. Across our nation, we are witnessing a full-on assault on other hard-fought, hard-won freedoms and rights, like the freedom to vote, the freedom to join a union, the freedom to breathe clean air and drink clean water, the freedom to love who you love openly and with pride, and the freedom to be safe from gun violence, which after 1 October, Nevada proved that smart gun safety laws are just common sense. So look, generations before us, generations of America led the fight for freedom. And the baton, well, it's now in our hands. It's now in our hands. And it all comes down to this. We are here together. You came out on a Sunday evening. We are here together because we know what is at stake, and we are here together because we love our country. We love our country. We love our country. And I do believe that one of the highest forms of patriotism that we could show is to then fight for the ideals of our country. That's what this is about. It is a fight to realize the promise of America. And I know the people of Nevada, you are battle-born. You are battle-born. Yes, you are. And we are all ready for the work ahead. 37 days, 37 days. And here in Nevada, every voter will receive a ballot in the mail. And in-person early voting starts October 19th. So now is the time to make your plan for how you are going to vote, okay? And I'd ask you to start making your plan now for how you are going to vote. And if you choose to vote by mail, do not wait. Fill out your ballot, sign it, and send it back right away. Okay? And tell your neighbors. Because, folks, the election is here. And we need to energize and organize and mobilize. And remember, your vote is your voice. Your voice is your power. Don't ever let anybody take your power from you. Never. Never. Don't let anybody silence you, ever. So, Las Vegas, today I ask you, are you ready to make your voices heard? Do we believe in freedom? Do we believe in opportunity? Do we believe in the promise of America? And are we ready to fight for it? And when we fight, we win. God bless you, and God bless the United States.
All right. Okay, let me go ahead and cut that off before we get demonetized for that Beyonce song. People, seems to me there was a lot of reiterated stuff there. Laura, I know that you actually caught the last live one. How much did it sounded a lot alike? The stump speeches are getting more and more honed in.
Yeah, she's basically got it down. You know, of course, she included the response to the disaster in North Carolina and other places. That's always appreciated. Yeah, actually, I was paying more attention to the chat, and Darla, was to the speech. So yeah, she always nails it. I don't have any faults there.
All right.
maybe
I'm
maybe
sure
you
that
were listening more closely.
No. I'm sure that there will be those who say that she never mentioned anything about Israel, and I'm not sure what she can say about that. We already know what it is.
What can she say right now?
But yeah. So listen, I don't know if we need to be covering this every time, but I thought it was important this time, and we hope that at least all of the pregame show we gave you the news. It's not I want people like Darla especially to know that the reason why this exists is to point out absurdities, is to make sure that people are informed about the facts on the ground, about things that matter, and about the context and history of the news. That's the basic behind every report that we try to give. Even when you give the funny stuff, it's the overall context of the page is to give that context and history within which the news exists. And right now, the context is there's only one side. There's only one side, only one campaign that's running on destroying the democratic process. There's only one campaign that is running on legally getting rid of people's rights to vote right here where I live in Georgia. There's so many purging ballots. There's only one side that's running on freeing and pardoning people who ran into the Capitol to disrupt a free and fair election for the first time in our nation's history. And it's not the side of the people who we just saw. So we can have an in-depth breakdown about that $50,000 tax credit for new businesses. I'm wondering what that means, because if you don't already have $50,000 to start your business, I'm not sure what a tax credit can do with it. But the fact that there's a plan, and the plan isn't to overrun the election system. The plan isn't to purge people from the ballots to make sure that they don't vote. I'll take that. If the plan is to give money to the agencies and to the prosecutors who deal with price gouging, and you ask, well, how are you going to pay for that? That's important, but it's a plan. The plan isn't to lie about the election, call them up and say, I need just another 100,000 votes. As long as that's not the plan, the choice is easy. The choice is easy. I guarantee you, the absurdities only exist on one side. When we talk about Gavin Newsom, we talk about Eric Adams, and about people who are corrupt and disruptive to decency. The only reason why we don't do it more is because there's just not more of it. But every single day, there's someone out there running on ego, lying about crowd size, lying about everything, grifting $100,000 watches, and then when you go to the website, it literally says on the website where you can buy the watch that you may not get it. So it's obviously just a way for people to give $100,000 from foreign countries. These things should be beyond the pale for Republicans and Democrats. That's why we talk about it. I guarantee you, when she becomes president, if we all vote, if we all make sure our neighbors vote and our friends vote, and we go to vote.org, and we go to all the places that I usually have up here that show where you can subscribe to use your card to help people vote, help the elderly vote. If we all do everything and she becomes the president, on the next day, I'm going to be her like I am everybody else who we vote for. Because I don't believe in politicians. I believe in systems, and systems are changed. Systems are run in this country by the people, for, of, and by the people. Only way to make sure she doesn't become corrupt or doesn't reach the people is that we system and make sure that. So that's what this page will do. If you think that we're just sycophants, I hear it. It's because the other side has no choice. If it wasn't I would have no choice but to vote for the only side that believes in democracy. The only side that has said they will not overrun the Capitol and start a revolution if they don't win. Because up to now, Trump still hasn't said that that's what he won't do. Will you accept the election? Well, I don't know if it's free and it's fair. Yes, it's free and it's fair. It's always free and it's fair. Who says whether or not it's free and fair? Who gets to decide that? The answer is yes. And if you can't say that, you can't get our vote. That has to be the bottom line. That has to be the lowest bar to jump over. If you can't say that, no matter what you think of this speech, no matter what you think of her laugh, if she's black or Indian, be honest with yourself. If you can't pass that bar, what are we doing? Thank you guys for showing up today. Thank you guys. Thank you for being the good sport and constant support of the channel. Freedom. Thank you everybody who's here watching, and we hope that this was worthwhile. Time. I appreciate you. You guys were, Laura.
Well, it was a couple days late, but it was hero stories that I hope all of you will go back and watch it. And I hope that your week ahead will be a good one. And we got that first vice presidential debate on Tuesday.
Ooh, it's going to be crazy.
We might have to cover that, Bruce.
Yeah, I believe we're probably going to have to hit that one up live too, because first of all, we need to find out, is that really JD's eye? Maybe it's Maybelline. Maybe we can check that out live during. Stay tuned to find out if JD Vance wears Maybelline or not, and we'll cover that live, guys. Team Insanity and Team Drain. Peace. Bye.
Team Drain. Bye.